I'm David Parkins. I'm the PEC chair. I'm an optometrist and I've been on the PEC since 2003. It's very unusual and as far as I know, I'm the only one in the country at the moment who is an optometrist. The PEC here has been given a very different role. It's not just GPs, it has a more inclusive feel in terms of clinical leadership and the like, and it's been very healthy because of that. The government at the moment, they have seen it very much clinical commissioning rather than GP commissioning. I think the problem is that the budgets all sit with GPs, and that's where the GP commissioning has come from. But in actually finding solutions, GPs need to involve everybody in how commissioning decisions are made in the future. I've redesigned optometry and ophthalmology pathways over the last 5 years, and we were finding that 67% of referrals in the hospital after the first appointment were discharged, and that's my proxy marker for quality. We looked at how we could change things, and we looked at glaucoma refinement. We put a scheme in place in 2005 where repeat fields and pressures were done by the optometrist prior to referral decision. And we found that 76% of patients were not referred on after having that done. And we also looked at savings, and 62% savings against tariff were achieved. When you do Goldmann tonometry, we found that in nearly half of cases where a patient is seen with higher pressures that do come outside NICE guidance, that they fall within the normal range when they've repeated using Goldmann. So that's been a very successful scheme that has been taken over the last 5 years. It needs to be done on a more national basis in order to get the savings, because 20% of our patients come from outside the area and therefore do not necessarily have access to that scheme. The savings in the schemes that we've had 62% savings in the glaucoma scheme and also 15 to 20% savings in the community eye care team. That represents somewhere in the region of about £30,000 a year between the two of them. And I think if that was scaled up across the country, that could make quite a serious impact on the QIP agenda. It's all about right care and cutting out variation in the services that are commissioned. I think it's very important that clinicians are involved in all processes of introduction of the schemes, right through to assessment of the schemes, as well as patients as well. Clinical leadership is so important going forward, and clinical responsibility, and taking responsibility for the decisions those clinicians take when seeing patients. It's fundamental of how we go forward. I think you could apply everything we've done in optometry and ophthalmology redesign to any pathway. The similarities of what we do here and cutting out variation and right care can be applied across the board. We're very fortunate that we have a patient management centre here, and that allows us to look at referrals and often it is a case of peer review and going back to practitioners where we see that they may need some help or support, and that's the way that we've looked at it. It's very a supportive route in the future.